Okay, so apparently we have found ourselves in Utah. You know how I say with law enforcement, the rookies aren't just like thinking this shit up. They've seen it somewhere, they've learned it somewhere, and that the system has been broken for so long it's ridiculous. It's rotten from the inside out, top down. Yes, I'm about to prove that point right here. These two, this is the worst video I have done yet. By far, the worst video I have done by far. I've done since, I don't know, December, January, 150-ish. And this one is by far the worst. I don't know if it's going to get worse than this, but this is where we're at right now. Also, I would like to note, people don't like it when I say this, so now I'm going to say it 3 times during this video. 93% of people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. You got your computer, you got your phone in your hand, click the button, and we'll be done with it. So, we're in Utah, and this is where we are at. New charges. Box elder judge and fire chief shared, now you know how YouTube is. Some words I ain't going to say, I'll point out. You'll get it. Fantasies of molestation with each other. Okay? March 11th. Brigham City, Utah. After 2 public servants in Box Elder County were charged with offenses involving... New findings show that the pair had a sexual relationship with one another, shared and discussed fantasies of... This is a judge and a fire chief. You know how I say in my videos, oh, the judge and the cop, they're drinking buddies, so they're not going to do anything about it. Or, you know, they're, I don't know, neighbors, or they barbecue together or whatnot. Apparently, they're doing a lot more than that. This is where we're at. And these men are older, I think in their 50s and 60s, and no telling how long one's been the fire chief and one's been the judge. But when not only do the unions back the cops, this is where we're at when it gets to the judge. Both men were charged earlier this year. First, Tremonton Fire Chief Ned Brady Hansen was accused of possessing and sharing CP. Then Box Elder County Judge Kevin Robert Christensen was charged with similar offenses. In a search warrant obtained by FBI agents investigating Hansen's case, they said they learned that Hansen was often sharing CP with other users online and discussing twisted fantasies. According to the report, they learned that one of the people Hansen was chatting with online was Christensen. So they got a tip online. I can't remember the name of the, right off the top of my head. I'm so pissed off right now. About Hansen, and they were investigating Hansen and found out he was talking to Christensen, the judge. Investigators also learned from the chats that Hansen and Christensen had met up in real life and engaged in sexual acts. They also allegedly discussed fantasies of... These 2 people, hell is not good enough. I'm just saying. One shot. I'm just saying. Well, 2 actually, but you know what I mean. They also discovered that when Hansen was arrested, law enforcement had requested that he be held without bail, but Christensen denied the request and allowed Hansen to be released. Now, at this point, they didn't realize that Christensen and Hansen were talking together. They brought Hansen in, and he goes before Christensen. Christensen's like, I'll just release him on bail. And they found that completely strange until they did a little more investigating. A warrant was issued for Hansen's rearrest, and he was booked into the Weber County Jail on Tuesday. Christensen was booked into Davis County last week. They are both still in custody. Are they now? So far. And then, Box Elder County Judge resigns after being charged with enticing minors. Kevin Christensen, a Box Elder County judge, resigned after being charged with 8 felonies. And this was just March 14th. March 11th. 3 days later. Probably 2 days, but this is when it came out. 8 felonies. He is charged with enticing minors and aggravated... And his case is linked to similar charges filed against former Tremonton Fire Chief Ned Brady Hansen. Brigham City. Kevin Christensen resigned from his position as a judge in the 1st District Court after he was charged with 8 felonies. A court spokesperson confirmed Friday. He resigned on Monday, the day he was charged with 2 counts of enticing a minor, a second-degree felony, along with 2 counts of dealing in materials harmful to a minor, 3 counts of aggravated of a minor, and obstruction of justice, all third-degree felonies. The court spokesperson said he had previously been placed on unpaid leave during the investigation. Charging documents said the judge engaged in disturbing conversations with Tremonton Fire Chief Ned Brady Hansen, 54, about, and the 2 men were also involved in a sexual relationship. Hansen was charged on Tuesday with 8 counts of aggravated of a minor, a first-degree felony. As a judge, Christensen, 64, denied a request to keep Hansen in custody in January after Brigham City police executed a search warrant at Hansen's home and argued Hansen would pose a risk to children in the community. Not only children in the community, but children in the family. The criminal cases for both men have been moved from the Brigham City District Court to the Ogden. Christensen has his first court appearance on March 20th and Hansen on March 17th, and we'll keep an eye on that. The investigation into Hansen began in November when the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, that was it, received information that an account connected to Hansen had engaged in disturbing material. An arrest report said Hansen admitted to possessing the videos related to the tip and subscribing to the application. Later, police found Hansen had an extensive number of chats with Christensen that were graphically sexual and involved discussions of, according to the arrest affidavit. Charging documents for Christensen said FBI investigators found an account connected to him was being used to communicate with others about, it cited graphic sexual conversations with girls who told them they were 13 to 16 years old, and said he shared personal details about himself and sent explicit photos on the app. Hansen was fired on Monday after Tremonton officials learned his arrest. City Manager Bill Kababe, whatever, reported. He said Wednesday that the city is doing its best to try and help the community mend while rebuilding trust in government. Our whole community is kind of reeling in this, Kababe said. We're just trying to make sense of everything. This is a tough day. Well, this trust has been burning down for, I don't know, more than a decade. And then there was this. Corrupt Utah judge freed fire chief charged with, now both arrested in shocking and illicit relationship scandal, the Gateway Pundit. Judge Kevin Christensen, Fire Chief Hansen, yada, yada, yada. 2 high-profile Box Elder County officials, former Tremonton Fire Department Chief Ned Brady Hansen, and 1st District Justice Court Judge Kevin Christensen are now behind bars facing a slew of felony charges tied to the, just wait, Hansen, who was first arrested in January on suspicion of, had been released on bail thanks to the questionable ruling by none other than Judge Christensen. Now, new evidence uncovered by the FBI has led to Hansen's arrest on March 11, 2025, and has blown the lid off of the sickening relationship between the 2 men. Christensen, 64, was arrested on March 6 and faces 6 felony counts, including attempted exploitation of a minor, enticing a minor, and dealing in materials harmful to a minor, the Herald reported. Hansen, meanwhile, was slapped with 8 felony counts of aggravated of a minor on March 10th. Court documents painted a horrifying picture of the duo's alleged crimes. Using the shady internet app Kick, Hansen and Christensen reportedly traded vile fantasies about and bragging about meeting in real life to engage in sexual acts with each other. Charging documents revealed they discussed targeting children in their own families. Proof, if any, was needed of the depths of their moral rot. Proof, if any, was needed of the depths of their moral rot. You know how I said in the last video or two with the cops and whatnot, with the same issue that's going on here? Start at their closest family members, especially the children, and work your way out, especially when we're already dealing with children, and work your way out and talk with them. This is exactly the shit I'm talking about. Because they're like, well, it happened to this one, it happened to this one. No. You don't know where it started. This is where we're at with a judge and a fire chief. in their own families. The FBI affidavit penned by Agent Jason Merrill alleges the pair's chats were a cesspool of depravity filled with plans to commit unspeakable acts against the most vulnerable among us. What's worse, Christensen, acting as judge in Hansen's initial case, ignored law enforcement's pleas to keep the fire chief locked up without bail after his January arrest. Instead, he let Hansen walk free, a decision authorities now say was tainted by their secret, perverse connection. Despite the request of law enforcement to hold defendant Hansen without bail, Christensen released the defendant from custody on bail, Agent Merrill wrote. Christensen did not disclose that he had engaged in sexually charged chats regarding children with defendant Hansen. This wasn't justice. It was a cover-up, plain and simple. And what have we been saying? I know we've been talking about it. Cover-up. It's all bullshit. It's lie, deflect, and defend themselves. While searching Hansen's electronic devices, investigators found multiple chats with another person, which was discovered to be Kevin Robert Christensen, 64, a Box Elder County judge. According to court documents, Hansen and Christensen spoke about how they could, including extended family members of one of the men. Now, the family members of one of the men, they're not releasing who that is, but those family members need to, I can't fathom, nobody knows about this. I think they need to do an interview with the family members. I'm just saying. Eventually, to discuss meeting up in person and engaging in a sexual relationship, documents stated. According to court documents, this prompted an investigation into Christensen. The investigators discovered investigators discovered the two's relationship. On Monday, Christensen was also charged in the First District Court with 2 counts of enticing a minor using the internet, 1 second-degree felony, and 1 third-degree felony, 2 counts of dealing in materials harmful to a minor, 3 counts of attempted aggravated exploitation of a minor, and obstruction of justice, third-degree felonies, according to court documents. So, that is where we're at with these two. Holy shit. You cannot make this up. I'm just saying. How bad is it going to get? This is where we're at with this one in Utah. Also, I know I was going to say it 3 times, but I forgot in the middle, so I'll say it for the second time. 93% of people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. You got your phone in your hand, you're at your laptop. All I got to do is click the button, and I'll stop the harassment. I'm just saying. So, I don't know how it gets any worse than this. Anyway, let me know what you think about this one in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and I'm out.